Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there. You gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know there's certain lines you don't cross, and that there's gonna be consequences if you do.
Man up.
If you are an adult and you are in a relationship, that person's emotions are not your responsibility.
Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
The devil, during slavery, destroyed the masculinity or manhood of the so-called Negro. No man. No man. Right now you got to be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Position make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew that glorious path, if that people knew that glorious path, if that people knew that glorious path, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter. Make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best interest.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
At the end of the day, as men in the community, we must stand together and be counted, because people look to us for guidance, leadership, and protection. And if we are not about that business, we are not on our job. Here we have grown-ass man conversations in the spirit of that purpose. Anthony Malcolm, Bobby Drake, Major Gage. We are. This is Manifestations 2020.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
All right. Welcome to Manifestations 2020. I'm so excited. We have a super dope special guest tonight. I had to reach out to the brother because the brother is doing phenomenal work. And I don't know if it was Major, if it was you or Bobby that shared that link where he was trying to correct a woman that was in a very, very serious profession. On our side, we call it misandry. But I don't know who sent it. Not sure if you sent the link, maybe, or Bobby sent it.
It was probably me.
Yeah, it was Bobby, right? I told Bobby that was him earlier. He's like, no, that was Major. But I'm glad you did send the link, because when I reviewed the episode that he did, and it went viral. It actually went viral, and it went viral for a good reason. I love when things go viral for the right reasons, and just how this brother, the way he dissected her in a way that was very intellectual and professional and educational at the same time for the audience. And the way he did it was so immaculate. And I really wanted to reach out to him and bring him on our platform, because you know what we stand for. And this brother exudes everything that we stand for. And you guys are going to see tonight. So we have a great show for him tonight. And everybody that's tuning in, I know he's broadcasting from his platform as well. Shout out to his people out there, because I also want to give you your flowers too, because a lot of times we have echo chambers with platforms of people that echo the wrong sentiments out there and put the wrong projection of things in the wrong direction. And your audience, Dr. L, your audience did an immaculate job on spitting facts going against her, as well as showing her like, hey, that's not the right way to go about it. And if you still are pursuing that way and we're giving you all the facts, then really you shouldn't be in the profession you are, trying to heal people, because you in reality need to be healed on a serious level. So we're definitely going to dial down into that. You guys are definitely going to see what I'm talking about in a few, but I want all the fellas, Major and Drake, if you guys have something to say before we dissect tonight's show tonight.
I mean, look, man, I'm just excited that the brother's here. I've heard so many good things. I want to see, I want to see what's up. I want to open up the gift. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, and I just want to put it out there how important it is that we people who are on a like-minded wavelength co-sign each other. We have ignorance run amok out here. You can turn on any podcast and hear any type of slackness about anything that's bad for the community all day long. But the brothers who are thoughtful and the brothers who are speaking life into our people are few and far between. So I'm really, really excited about this. Shout out to you, brother. I'm ready to just to get some good game today. Let you cook, man. Yay.
All right, Bobby, you got anything you want to say?
You said it perfectly. You nailed it to the cross. The reality is, at this point in time, there's a tremendous amount of labor that is to be done. Not nearly enough field hands out there in the trenches, pulling weeds, hoeing, planting crops. It's really literally all hands and feet and elbows and knees and teeth and whatever limbs and body parts you can spare and imagine, all of that on deck. So anytime we see fellow workers in the vineyard putting in that good work, tilling that soil, dropping down good seed, harvesting solid crops, definitely want to go ahead and make sure that we salute and tip our hats to those people. And, this needs to be an ecosystem. When it comes to the dysfunction, there's no shortage of avenues for that. They're all over the place. They're getting monetized. They're getting platforms. They're doing tours. They're going all over. They're going viral in places that don't even speak English. So it goes far, it goes wide, and it leaves a massive impact. And I really think that when we are able to bump into other people who are willing to go ahead and get out there on the platforms and be that lone voice crying in the wilderness, we need to make sure that we're elevating these people and that we're making sure that we're creating that positive echo chamber, something to push back against the nonsense. So for that reason, huge respect to you, Dr. L. Continue doing what you're doing. We're looking forward to hearing from you and sharing time and airspace with you tonight. And I truly hope that your platform and your voice is elevated and expanded and goes much further as a result of tonight, man. Thank you for sharing your time with us, brother.
All right, that's what's up. So, Dr. L, we're not privy to you. I know I was privy by the clip that Bobby Drake sent over, but can you just give us a little insight to who you are, what you do, so that our audience know who you are? I'm pretty sure your audience already know your background, but if you have new members on your audience as well, maybe this could be a time where they get to know you as well.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate you guys have said such kind words. I certainly hope I can live up to all of that. I am Dr. L, and let's see. I started off in law enforcement. I am a retired police captain. I did 24 years in the police department here in Connecticut. As a result of me being in the police force, I really was questioning, what was going on within our community. Our arrest rates and every other sociological rates that we could look at. At the time, I was coaching kids from my police activity league. I was raising a family as well. I had kids of my own, so I wanted to have something and do something better for them and show them a different way. I wanted them to see a positive Black male in the community. Therefore, I started coaching, etc. At the same time, I went back to school, finished up my bachelor's in psychology, got a master's degree right after that in forensic psychology. And for a lot of people don't know, but forensic psychology is really the psychology and it deals with the legal system as well. It's kind of the legal system and psychology as well. So it's those two put together. So we look at, how people get into crime. We also look at how we keep them out of crime, how we reduce recidivism rates or people returning back to prison. So I was looking at all that. And of course, my community, I grew up in the hood in the city that I grew up in. I was a product of a single mother. She raised two boys. And I turned out okay. I was a police officer at the time. And so I said, let me just continue to look into this. And I just continued with that, looking into it, doing a lot of research and everything like that. And so, and then I retired from law enforcement 2019 at the rank of captain. Retired in good standing. You got to say that nowadays because people just leave and you don't know why they left. but I left in good standing. I decided it was time for me to go. When the pandemic hit next year, we had George Floyd 2020 and then the pandemic at the same time. So we were locked in for, they were talking about 2 or 3 years at the time. So I said, hey, I was originally going to go back to get a second master's degree in organizational leadership. And I said, as I'm researching, it popped up where I can get a PhD in it. So I said, let me just go ahead and get this PhD. So I went back to school during the pandemic and got a PhD in leadership with a concentration in criminal justice. And then I started a podcast called Captain Hunter's Podcast. And some of those episodes are still up on YouTube, some audio as well. And then eventually just evolved into Dr. L's podcast where I talked about male self-improvement, what we got to do in order to prove ourselves. A lot of ladies, there'll be a lot of ladies in the chat here tonight, but they want to hear a man's opinion about dating and things like that. So I kind of evolved into that as well. I also have another podcast called Dr. L's Breakdown where I'm talking more about political ideas and as well as police videos, trying to help people understand what the police can do and what the police can't do. So those two platforms are growing, and I really, really appreciate you guys having me on here. Appreciate it.
And so informative and definitely love everything you do about it. You have done so far, and congratulations on obtaining your goal, which was a PhD. So many brothers, we get kicked in the dirt sometimes when we try to reach for our goals. A lot of people, they underestimate the small wins. And it's big, that's something that you felt like you went out and you could do, and you end up achieving it. So, as somebody that saw that you achieved it, definitely want to give my applause to you and for accomplishing that, because people don't understand. One thing I always talk about, especially on this platform, is that men go through so much. There's a reason why we are 3 times more likely to commit suicide. The weight that's heavily on our shoulders, it's nothing serious. I was gonna show a clip, but I was like, I didn't want to extend this conversation too far tonight. But there was, I don't know if you guys remember the lady who ended up being a man for one day, a white lady. She ended up being a man for one day, and she did not know how hard it was to be a man. And God rest her soul. It actually propelled her into the direction of suicide. She ended up committing suicide later on, years later, because of it. She had to check into a mental hospital after going through that little process that she wanted to go through, you know, and she found out that it ended up being life-threatening for her, trying to be a man, to see how a man operates in the shoes and knowing what he had to deal with from women, because she was dressed as a woman and dealing with some nasty, vital things coming from other women. And then when she revealed herself, the women was like, "Oh, I didn't know you was a woman. I thought you were a man." Like, that would make it so much better, you know? So, you know, just knowing that men go through that is one of the reasons why we have this podcast, because we want to build the self-esteem and the self-confidence and educate both men and women, holding them both accountable and giving them good information so they can process through this world of life that is really not an easy life to live, but it is a gracious one if you know how to maneuver through it the right way. All right. So with that being said, I did want to get into our first video just to show the super dopeness of what our the guests he has on, and the conversations that he have as well. I thought this conversation was super dope, and I think it's much needed. So I'm gonna bring part of it up right now. All right, here we go.
Yeah, you're really saying something here. I wanted to highlight something by Garrett, and his overall point here with this particular statement is, what in modern times are men getting in these times, right? So you said you had 3 girls. Do you have any sons? Do you have any sons?
I have no sons, man. I wish I had one, but no, I don't have no sons.
So what would you tell a son, your son, nephew, cousin, whatever, concerning what's going on these days in these times, right? We're talking about wrestling with masculinity, wrestling inside the relationship versus this Disney princess delusion that's going on. You know, what does the man get if he enters into these types of relationships?
Most men in modern times get nothing. I mean, they get nothing but a headache, low T, and a lot of stress, and getting half of that ish taken. That's what they get, nothing. Because let me tell you something. My mom passed away, Dr. L, back in May. It was one of the most painful things in my life, man, when my mom passed. You know, I really haven't had time to fully grieve the death of my mom. But my mom was a virgin when my dad married her back in the past. She was a virgin. My grandma was a virgin. She didn't have kids. She was mostly wife ready. You know, now, you know, my dad compromised his masculinity sometimes because my mom was spoiled, you know. But that's what men got. That was the gold standard back then, Dr. L. Virgin, no kids, wife ready. And those women got with average, hardworking men. That was the gold standard back in the day in the country. Now, we know that there are situations where there were women that had kids, but you saw more of that than less of that in where I'm from, in the rural eastern part of North Carolina. Now, I raised my daughters to be chaste. As far as I know, I got a daughter that's a junior in college, and she's still a virgin. Pretty, cute. My baby girl's still a virgin, as far as I know. You know, she's an AB student, both of them good students. My oldest one, if she won't one, I know she had little bodies. You know, she rebelled a little bit because, you know, I'm a strong man, but most men are not getting anything. Nothing. They're not. Listen, I don't care if women say what they want in a relationship. A woman got a right to say, you know, I want a man to be X, Y, Z. That's a woman's right. But men got rights and needs too. And so what would I tell my son if he was trying to get a wife in modern times in relationships? This is what I would tell him. I would tell him that he should love the Lord, his God, with all his heart, mind, soul, body, and strength. That's number one. I would tell him that he cannot go into a relationship until he curate and determine what relationships, what his values are. Many men, Dr. L, now don't have a value pathway. We call that value clarification. And I tell my clients in practice all the time that your values is your mental compass. Your values is your mental compass, and your boundaries is your ship. Many times, me and myself included, we tend to minimize our boundaries and our values for the sake of peace, but that causes a lot of problems. The third thing I would tell my son is that he put his purpose above everything. nothing supersedes his purpose. It's God, his purpose, and then his woman, because his woman was made to support him. And so if a woman is being a man's cheerleader and supporting him and helping him meet his mission, that woman will automatically be successful and great. She's going to be successful and great because what I've learned also, Dr. L, in relationships, human beings by nature want to take the path of least resistance. You don't change behavior by placating to bad behavior. But in relationships where you make a woman earn that relationship, then she'll respect you more, especially if you are her select choice. But the problem now, you got a lot of women come into relationships with men that they're not that man's select choice. They got a lot of unresolved trauma. And by the time they get with that man, you know, he's just a holdover, a placard, until she get tired and she's ready to divorce him and move over to the next man. So number one, put God first, put his purpose second, affirm his values, and also stand on masculine principles and virtues and be unwavering in his convictions and confront bad behavior. Don't run away from it, confront it, and more or less establish your paradigm, establish your kingdom rules before you start any relationship with a woman. That's what I would tell my son.
I thought that was super, super dope breakdown. And then you had something to add after that. And I wanted, because you were on here, I didn't want to record your part, but you had something to add on to that I thought was very powerful. So you can go ahead if you remember what you had said that time. I think you also said you had told your daughter some words of advice before she left as well.
I remember saying that. I don't remember exactly what I told her.
Okay.
But we have, you know, I have a very good relationship with my kids. So I'm constantly trying to tell them how to navigate and move in this world. I tell my son what to expect of a woman, and I tell my daughter what to expect of a man. And, you know, my son, and I just found out I have two stepsons as well. And one of them pays attention. He actually wants to come on one day.
Nice.
Yeah. So we may end up chopping it up, but I try to give them game. I try to give them the game that I didn't have. Again, I was a product of a single mother, but I did have good, strong uncles. I went to the boys club. I grew up at the boys club from the time I was about 10 or 11 until I was 18. Every summer, my mother put us in summer camp where we had some good, strong male counselors, etc. It was a day camp, but it wasn't the overnight type of camp. So my mother did the best she could to keep us out the streets. And so I try to give whatever game that I have, I try to give that to them. Now, a lot of things I didn't learn. I grew up in church, so we were in church service all the time. So we weren't out in the streets, you know, trying to get with the women. We tried to get with the women in church. So a lot of things worked, a lot of things didn't work. So, what I tell my daughter is, you know, she has to find. I think it's very important for a girl to know who she is as well, and what she's going to tolerate and what she's going to expect. I'm sure we're going to get into it a little bit later, you know, with a certain doctor if we get there. But I think that a lot of women have been hurt, and I think that a lot of women have been hurt and let down by the men in their life, whether it's a father, a stepfather, an uncle, who should have been there in some protective form or fashion, and were not. And I'm hearing that, I'm seeing that, and they're lashing out on all Black men, and that is unfortunate. And that's one thing that I really want to be, again, you know, why I entered into coaching with little kids is because I want them to see a strong, positive male role model, Black male role model in particular. And so I'm trying to be that even now in this YouTube space. It's just someone who's positive, just someone who's real and authentic with real credentials, a real personality, who's really been through some things. I was divorced twice. I raised my kids. I stayed in their life. I went through trials and tribulations. I went through a lot of life experiences. You know, obviously on the PD, I went through a lot as well. So I want to be there for them. And if I can be there for people on the internet as well, then I'll do that as well.
Oh, well said. Yes, I totally agree with you on that. Fellas, you wanted to chime in on what you heard on the clip? I can't hear you. Oh, you're muted. You muted yourself.
My bad. I thought it was extremely powerful. That's what we need out here. You know, it really, really hits home when I hear brothers correctly, because everybody has, it seems like when you go online, everybody's a dating relationship expert, right? But when brothers correctly articulate the steps that you need to take, that's everything. you know, and in particular, when he says, hey, stand by your principles, your values. Your values are everything. Without them, you have nothing, you know, and make sure that you know, communicate what those values are to the young lady that you're pursuing, you know, that because even if you do have a set of values and you don't communicate them well, she doesn't really understand what's going on. And you're just on a fast trip to nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And the most important thing when he talked about being, what does Black Authority always say? Uncompromising. Now, that doesn't mean you can't listen. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean that you can't take some advice, whatever the case may be, but being to the point where, you know, you have boundaries, they're clearly defined, and you just can't cross them. I say in the intro to the show, you have to have boundaries. And you have to let people know, you know, that if they cross them, there'll be consequences. And, you know, that's just very, very important, because if I find with a lot of the people that I talk to that are in these dating relationship issues, they started wrong. I'm writing a book on the very vetting process, you know. They started off wrong. And when you start off wrong and you don't communicate what needs to be said, it's just a mess. And, you know, when we're already in crisis mode as far as dating and relationships are concerned, we don't need any more mess. So I thought that what that brother said was spot on, is extraordinarily useful, and I just want to send a salute to you guys for putting that out there, because a lot of times when you see these dating and relationship podcasts or whatever, everything is sensationalized, but seldom is the information useful. And I think that information you gave is something that people can apply to their lives tomorrow and see a difference if they're having problems out here.
Yeah, I think that here's something that people may not have realized, right? So when I'm, you know, when I'm in your guys' position, right, I'm hosting a show or whatever, I got to read through the comments, make sure they're appropriate. I got to put them on stage. And so sometimes I can't really pay attention. I'm paying attention, but I can't really get to really digest what they were saying. But I always go back and watch it. And I thought the kosher clinician really, really brought some heavy game. I really thought he really brought some heavy game and for me rewatching it. And so, yeah, so being uncompromising. So again, I grew up in church, right? Yeah. And it's important to have some type of grounding. It's important to have some type of anchor to you, some foundation, that will hold you and that you will keep and abide by principles. And if you don't have those principles, then you'll have nothing later on in life. There is a lady, I talked about it before, Barbara Sizemore. Her YouTube is still up. This video is still up on YouTube. And I can't remember the exact name of it, but anyway, it's by a lady whose name is Barbara Sizemore. And she talked about because Black people haven't held on to because Black people haven't saved their culture can't save them or won't save them. So what she meant by that, because people have lost whatever way that is, whatever foundation, whatever truth, and because we have given that up culturally, maybe not individually, but culturally, we have nothing. These younger generations have nothing and no one to hold on to that's going to correct them, an inner voice to say, now you know that was wrong, you know you shouldn't have did that, you know you should go home, right? So that type of inner voice, that type of inner working is essential to keep people. And again, my pastor of the church, we used to always go through that. The scripture, I think it's like Proverbs 22:1. I want to turn this into Bible study, but it was, I think it was something like a good name. Your name, your name, your reputation is everything. And I kept that. I was a young guy, and then I joined the PD when I was 22, and I always kept was in the back of my mind whenever I was doing anything. You hear different things and all that kind of stuff, but none of that was going around me. I don't think culturally in our police department either, but we had a really good police department. But I always made sure that I was going to be that one who said, no, it's not going to happen around me. You're not going to do this, because my name, my reputation is very, very important to me. So I kept that through my time in church. I kept it through my time in the police department. I'm going to keep it now. So I think that's what something a kosher clinician really honed in on. And a lot of times we just don't have that foundation. And we got to build up that foundation. So when we build that foundation will be something you can settle on one day.
Yes, exactly. Remember, that foundation was the the foundation was what one of the reasons why the pigs didn't get ate by the wolf. You know, they had that solid foundation. You don't have that solid foundation, that would have been the last day of your life. So you have to take the little things that the little gems they put in cartoons and things like that we grew up with. It really come back as solid advice later on down the road. But go ahead, Bobby. I know you wanted to chop it up on what you just saw.
No, there was a lot of great insight that the kosher clinician gave. I'm very much in the habit of not messing with the well-made meal. That's already Michelin tier. The only little bit of parsley I would sprinkle on top with a little green onions up on top would be, in addition to what he said, you definitely want to make sure that you understand that we are looked towards for leadership, right? Whether or not that's expressed overtly or subtly, we are looked at for leadership. No woman who's with a man that she actually likes and admires and respects, and that's a big thing all by itself, but no woman who's with a man that she actually admires, likes, and respects wants to be taking charge in the relationship. She wants to be taken on the journey with you. And one of the disconnects that we have, because we so often see women in relationships with the stereotypical bad boys, right? And these abusive men. And one of the things that causes everybody, man and woman alike, to just sit there and just scratch their heads like, huh? Is how these women will be so doggedly loyal and attached to these men. He'll be the biggest cheater. He'll be the biggest, he'll be the poster boy for infidelity, be the most abusive man out there. And no matter what, she's locked right in there with him. And it takes nearly an act of God to peel her away from him. And I would suggest that the reason for that typically is because these men, even though it's not a positive one, these men have an agenda. They have a direction they're committed towards. And even though it's not a wholesome or functional one, the woman is still inclined to get along with that. The man who has a healthy, functional, positive direction that he's going in, he has his own mission, his agenda, he has his compass that guides him. She will also lock into that as well, too. But because I believe most commonly we're more accustomed to seeing the unhealthy men that have that direction, that's typically where we see the woman lock into that as well. But there are women out there, there are men that have that solid direction. And when we look at them, typically we see that their women have bought into what they're selling, they're on board, and they're along for the ride. And we have some examples of these couples that are out there that might not get the limelight because, you know, functionality isn't sexy. It's not hot. You're not going to see, you're not going to sell tickets. You're not going to sell views with that. But it's functional, stable, and it works. So we have to, like you mentioned, have that true north, that foundation that has us locked in. And once we're there, we need to make sure that we don't lose that why. Because that's something that also happens with men. We get comfortable, complacent. We have the wife, we have the kids, career's going solid. We just get complacent and we don't keep that grip or that grasp on our why as much as we should. And because of that, we take a foot off the gas pedal. We get lax. She feels that. She responds to that. And then what happens is we end up causing everything to unravel because we believe that it's supposed to be stationary. It's not. You have to be active in maintaining the relationship, active in maintaining your principles and goals. You have to fight for it every single day when you wake up. And just like with marriage, you have to choose every day, I'm still committed to my commitment. I'm still committed to my purpose. I have to remain entrenched in that, and I can't let go of it for any reason. If anything, I got to pour more on the fire. I can't take the kindling off.
Well said. Wow. Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, that one kind of leads into what I wanted to talk about. This. It was part of a clip of his show, and I thought it was pretty important to discuss because we have discussed it on our show. So I want to see if we can generate some collective thoughts on this. So here we go.
Okay, Joe Jackson. All right, here we go.
Listen, this is what we can do. We can all make this official and have a trifecta wedding.
Hold on.
Yeah, we can have a
Hey,
trifecta.
I'm official. I just ain't got no whistle. You know what I'm saying?
Joe Johnson. Okay,
I'm
Joe
good.
Johnson.
Yeah, we back. We
Joe Johnson. Okay.
back. I
He
like.
probably watching.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll get you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I got you.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Joe be knowing. Yes.
You feel me now?
It's time. Hey, Joe. It's time to come home. It's time to come home.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's about that time. Hey,
Yeah.
we not getting no younger.
Nah, I ain't.
Hey, Joe, I tried to explain to Unc. I say the older we get, the chances of getting what we want, it becomes slim.
Are these brothers talking about getting married now after Shannon been through what he been through? Now you talking about getting married and settling down? What is he, 58? Now you want to do it?
Because what's available out there right now, don't nobody else want, because that's why it's available.
Ooh.
You hear me?
Hey. Yeah, you get to a certain age, you know. You get what you can, not what you want to.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
Hey, the pickings is slim now.
Hey, it's a tough time to be dating now, boy.
Hey,
Yeah.
what?
Listen, hold on a second here. These three millionaires talking about how tough it is out here.
Mm.
Man, you know it's bad. You know it's bad when millionaires are talking about how tough it is out here.
Mm.
Yes, thank you for that, brother Darkness. Fair use. Yes. But you know, it's rough out here when millionaires are talking about how tough it is out here. They can't find anybody.
Hey, boy, I waved my white flag long time ago.
I remember, we got back to school clothes. It was like a week before school. Everything done been picked over. Right. Hey, Joe, it wasn't no early. We get the last 2 weeks. Everything done been picked over. Everybody else that tried the jeans on, that tried the shirt on, that had their feet in the shoe. That's where they came up. Because I remember when I was coming up, Joe, people be trying the shoes on just their bare foot.
Yeah.
You ain't had no socks. You know, they just started. You laughing, Ocho. I ain't lying. You people had their breath like, damn. Hey, let me get them what he just had. But that was back in the day. So, but it's time to come on in, Ocho. It's time to come on home.
Ooh, man.
It is what it is. And I'm at fault too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's probably true, Glorious. They probably do pass around the same women, right? The same ones at the same clubs, same games, same parties. Yeah, that's true. That's probably true.
All right, so I definitely wanted to add that clip in because we also talked about Shannon and his shenanigans. We also discussed Ocho. And you know what? Two things can be true, right? Two things can be true. What you said, Dr. L, is true, right? It is rough out here, and there are men with money that are struggling to find true love. That can be true. The problem I have on the other side of that is that these aren't the qualified men to talk about that, because I feel like these men have a lot of inner work to do, and it's part of the reason why they're having trouble finding the woman that they want. A lot of times, a lot of these guys don't really, you have to kill the lustful spirit in you. Watching Ocho, because he makes himself live all the time, watching how he moves, he hasn't killed that lustful spirit in him. When you look at Shannon Sharp, Shannon has a complex of worrying too much what the outside people think more than what he wants for himself. Because you remember, before this whole shenanigans went down and he got caught up in that stuff, people were saying that Shannon was gay. They didn't see him around no woman like that. He wasn't committed. And then his stylist is from that community. And everywhere he was going, he was getting pictures with his stylist. And remember when he heard that he was gay for so long that he ended up, quote unquote, leaking audio of him having sex with a woman just to show that he wasn't gay. And it's things like, it was things like that that just lets you know that even though these guys have money, a lot of them have deep insecurities and are broken. They're broken people with more money. That's all it is. And I thought that, you know, him telling Ocho time to come home. One of the most, and these guys could tell you, one of the most important and staple thing that you could say to somebody is make sure that you are leading by example. I always use that as my slogan. I always lead by example. That's why my peers respect me. That's why when I get around politicians and discuss policies, they respect me. Children that I've raised, I don't have any biological children, but all my stepchildren respect me because I lead by example. I remember my stepchild one day, he got promoted, and he got promoted so fast, and he came home one day and he hugged me. I was asleep and he hugged me. He hugged me so tight. Mind you, he still has his father. And he hugged me so tight. And I was like, are you all right? Because you know, when a child just do something just out of the norm like that, you start to question, like, do you want money? Do you have a problem? Something like that in that effect. And he said, no, I just want to thank you for being you. It's every day you woke up. I saw you with my mom. You woke up every day. You went out there. You went to work, come home, never complained. You made sure food was on the table, and you helped us out as much as you can. And I appreciate that. I watch that. And I always tell people that children are always watching. So be mindful of what you do. But if you stand on principle and you lead by example, you don't have to worry about eyes that's watching you that you don't see watching you, because you're doing the right thing. They're watching and observing the right thing go on. So he ended up getting promoted. He got the job at a fast food joint, and he ended up getting promoted within 3 months. And it was the fastest at that job to be promoted that fast. And the manager thanked me like, hey, how his work ethic is just off the chain. And just hearing that, even as a step parent, you got to be proud about that. You have to kind of pat yourself on the back, on the back, even though nobody else does it, because you are a part of transforming this young man into being an adult and being a successful adult in society, and understanding how to go about it in a strategic way to move up that ladder so you can end up earning the money that you deserve to earn. So I just wanted to point that out because I felt like it's very important for people to know that you have to lead by example before you can tell somebody else. Because if not, you're going to say something and it can be 100% true, but people are going to point back at you and say, okay, what about that stuff you got back there in the closet? You telling me to do this, but hey, what's that hanging out your closet? And now you looking silly because you have to address the closet now because they don't put it on Front Street. Now you stuck in a rock and a hard place. So that's why you always got to do your best. You're not perfect, but do your best to lead by example, especially if you're out here trying to educate people and send them in the right direction. And I land my plane on that.
Yeah. So these brothers, man, they are obviously in a different place than many of us, obviously, right? So just think about the life of these professional athletes, right? From the time that they were in high school, they didn't have to work very hard for anything. Women were throwing themselves at them. Teachers in school were probably giving them straight A's. So there's a lot of self-development that I would assume that they didn't do a lot of times. Now, given a lot of them also were probably raised in single parent homes, right? We all love those stories. We didn't have anything as Shannon Sharp was saying, we had to try on these different clothes, and talked about his poor. I think he grew up in Louisiana or something like that. I heard him talking about it one time. So they grew up with all these different impediments a lot of times. And so when they come to get power, they haven't done any self-development. They don't have this anchor that we talked about before, that foundation. Call it what you want. They don't have that. Not all of them, but we can just kind of summarize here. And so this is what they're wrestling with. So they make these terrible decisions when financially, with women, And so those things come back to bite them later on. And I know a couple of professional athletes, and they've gone through similar things like this. So it can't be, I don't ever want to, kind of dump on them for that, but it just shows that inner work and inner development is essential to becoming the whole you. And don't forget that a lot of people want to be in that position. Now, I call it the three P's of my own particular life. I was a police officer, I was around a lot of politicians, and I was around a lot of preachers. And all three of those, when they get power, they go crazy. They start sleeping with the women, they start stealing money. Police officers have been abusive a lot of times in the past. We all know what it was, right? But because that's power. So a lot of people aspire to be in those types of positions, not just the three P's that I laid out, but whatever position, right? You start moving up the corporate ladder, you become famous, you get a booming YouTube channel, whatever it is, people tend to get in this place. And if they don't have that foundation to avoid the corruption, to avoid becoming part of the problem that people are trying to overcome, then that is something to watch out for, right? So look what's going on with our Congress right now. They can't get anything done. And if you listen to a lot of experts, right, they talk about, at least I listen to them, reading their books and whatnot, right? They talk about the fall of Rome, and one of the things that caused Rome to fall was exactly what the United States is doing right now, where the politicians are no longer concerned about the people. And I would say that's what's going on today. Our politicians are no longer concerned about the people. But why? Because they've been bought out, because of the way our election rules go. So this is a problem that is a human problem. But if you don't have that foundation, you don't have that anchor to hold you in, man, you are subject to go downstream with everyone else.
Exactly. Well said, you fellas. I did want to say to your the politician of power. You had a lawyer, real good guy. I forgot his name. The lawyer, you did a podcast.
The
legal. What's his name again?
The lead attorney.
The lead attorney. Yes, that's his name. The lead attorney. And he had an episode where the Congress lady from I forgot what state that was, and she got pulled over by the cops. And the way she was talking to the cop, and it's a white cop, but the white cop was being very lenient to her, and she just kept using the way she knew she had power, the way she was talking to him. It was like, hey, let's just go through the proper procedures of doing it. But she felt like, because she's, part of the political world, who's your boss? And he's just like, listen, you ran 2 stop signs. Just give me your license. Who are you? Who's your supervisor? And I'm like, these are the same people that if somebody like me with dreads was to be pulled over and asked the same questions, the whole comment section would be like, just comply, shut up, take it to court, win there, And this lady, a very well-known lady, did not do that, and she went on and he ended up putting her in the back of the police car. He ended up letting her go because it was another black man that came, that was her friend, that kind of de-escalated the situation and was able to get her out of the handcuffs. But I just wanted to bring that up because you said the power of a lot of these politicians when they go to their head, and that was a prime example. But go ahead, Major Bobby, whichever one, chime in.
Yeah, that was a very interesting clip. It's a little crazy. I'm gonna say off rip, the first thing that really jumps out at me is to see not just them, but a lot of other people up in age still talking about dating. That's not normal. Let's talk about that. That's not normal. I mean, no shade to nobody who is. I guess we all got to struggle where we stand, but like for it to be an entire generation of us, what's going on? Because these are things that we should have figured out from long ago. So if we're still in our mid-30s, late 30s, mid-40s, early 50s out here talking about dating, what is it that we missed from back when, that we're still trying to find? Like Shannon Sharp trying to tell another man to come home in any capacity or give any type of dating advice to me is laughable. What are we doing? Really, Shannon? I'm just saying. I can't stop thinking about them damn text messages whenever I see Shannon Sharp. You understand? Like you said, both of these brothers got a lot of work to do. 65 is the new 35. That's the thing. We got to get out as a people. We're talking about dating right now, but as a people, more generally, we gotta get out of this mindset where we're perpetual goddamn teenagers. No, you gotta grow up. Shannon Sharp, you how old, man? You 54? Dating a 19-year-old
Yeah, it's
OnlyFans girl. You a Hall of Fame athlete dating a 19-year-old OnlyFans girl, bro. You should just be quiet whenever it comes to relationships, point blank. And the thing is, money. I know you mentioned money in there, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. I've been around a lot of professional athletes as well. I was a club promoter for a few years, and when you start talking to these guys, you find out they're just like you. In fact, a lot of times they're a couple ticks beneath where you are intellectually or socially. Because, I'm a club promoter. I'm doing what I do. I introduce people. I make the club a nice and fun environment. You got professional athletes coming up to me asking me, which one of them single, man? Hey, can you go put in a word for me over there? Man, I'm not going to say no names, but you're professional athlete X. Get your ass over there and say something, fool. You out here dodging tackles and you doing all this stuff on the field. You a monster and you scared to go talk to a woman. You understand? That's part and parcel of what Shannon Sharp is guilty of, because remember, Shannon Sharp was tricking. You understand? So we're not even talking about people trying to have a regular relationship. This is not normal. He tricking off his little money because he's into whatever race play or whatever kind of weird stuff they was talking about on them text messages. Put a big black baby in me, all that. Bruh. So you have to understand the mindset, I guess, of the people who are speaking. Pouring syrup on shit don't make it pancakes. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you feel me? You can try to, make it look like something or what, but like Anthony said, you got to do the work. It's a real thing. And it seems like, a lot of these guys, especially if they got some paper, they feel like their paper compensates for all of their other shortcomings. You can't unlame a lame. Money can't unlame you. You dig? And so that was a very bizarre exchange. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I would like to see more brothers at Shannon Sharp's level publicly married with children, showing love to their families and emphasizing building community. Because this whole I'm a player that just got fired from my damn job because I couldn't keep it together at 56 just ain't working. And I'll park the Chevy there. It's insane.
Well said, Drake. Go ahead, Doctor. You wanted to say something real quick?
No, I just wanted to say, yeah, I definitely appreciate that, and I wish that Shannon would get it together. Let me just also what you talked about, Major, at the beginning there was this idea about being over 35 and still dating. Man, I'm telling you, it's a completely different game, and that's what they were alluding to. It is completely different. Now, I got divorced during the pandemic, so I'm back out here myself, and I'm like, and all this stuff you used to. All this stuff they used to do, all the stuff that you used to do, that don't work no more. It don't work. The game has changed. The ladies have changed, and I think that this is the point that they were saying, is that it's all changed. And so I think a lot more ladies. I'm seeing a lot more YouTube videos of ladies, and even some professional ladies. I was listening to a podcast today. Two professional white ladies are saying, listen, we done messed up the game. Essentially, our feminism has messed up the game. People aren't getting married, and these are two white ladies, so I'm assuming that they're talking about what's going on, and mostly in their communities. They're seeing people not getting married. They understand that the men don't want what they are now offering and selling. They don't want, and if they're saying that, I mean, what is going on in our community? You know, that's, you know, we got to take a look at this. So it's good that other people are at least recognizing that there is a problem. You know, the things that men and women came together to do, to perform, to complement each other. You were strong in one area, I was weak in this area. Try to make a whole unit that is gone, and they want, I would assume, with those the brothers on the on that panel were saying they're just after your money, and they're making it plain now. I just want money. I just want this. I just want that. Yesterday, I'm actually going to do I do some driving videos and stuff. So I'm actually going to talk about this. And this one video I saw the other day where this lady was complaining because she's tired of just having random sex because it's not getting her anywhere. She's having random sex with all these different dudes. It ain't good. She's not finishing. So why is she doing all this? Right. So they're starting to understand that maybe there's something to this whole being in a relationship. And my thought process was, she's not, you know, a lot of times these ladies are in these intimate relationships with these people, but they're not emotionally connected. There's no intimacy going on. Therefore, they're not getting the emotional needs met, which would then lead to them not being able to have the orgasmic experience that they're looking for. So just trying to run out here, trying to be like man is not working. So there's a whole dynamic that's going on out here. And my point in that was, if we as average guys are dealing with this and the rich guys are dealing with that, and now, you know, as I watched a podcast today with two professional ladies, one had written a book about this, they're all dealing with this, then it really is a problem that we need to look at.
Yeah.
Of course, we are advocating for our men to do better. But there really is a problem. And one of the things I've been trying to tell the men is, it ain't you ain't crazy. Right? There really is something going on out here. So, I'll park my Chevy next to yours on that one.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted
Bet that up.
Before I let Bobby cook. Now, did you hear? I want everybody to really pay attention to this. Did you hear how Dr. L explained that, his situation of how he's out there, you know, and it's hard for him versus Shannon Sharp and Ocho? Because the direction of it is, here's an intellectual man who's being very honest about it and non-biased about it. And the way he moves lets you know that what he's saying is more effective, because Dr. L could get real quality women versus Shannon and Ocho, right? But when Ocho and Shannon are saying something like that, it's not going to be perceived the same way as Dr. L saying it, because everybody's looking like, well, you've been chasing the bimbos and the supermodels.
Nice.
So how are you going to say that it's hard for you? You haven't even put forth of a quality woman out there. Please, if I'm wrong, please tell me. And no shade to any of the women that these men have dated, but please tell me a real quality woman that you've seen these men with. I can tell you that Dr. L probably been with more quality women than these guys have been in their lifetime. And that's no shade. I'm just saying how you perceive things based on who the person is. And it has nothing to do with educational level or anything like that. It's how you move as a man. Let me tell you something. And I've talked about this, and I'm gonna make this real quick because I know Bobby's about to flame it up and do his thing, his hibachi thing, right? But I'm gonna tell you like this. When you look at from the aspects of how it is out here, that people have to realize that when you're connecting with people, you have to connect on the level that is far more surpass what is the norm of what other people are connecting on. And people don't really understand that how you move as a man. Basically, what I'm saying is, when a woman comes in a room, a certain woman comes in a room, if she's a woman that demands presence, it will be known the minute that door opens. And I've talked about this. And even Charleston White, people don't like Charleston White, but even Charleston White talks about this. And I've talked about this because I personally seen it. There's certain women that come in the room and you could be the dustiest dude. You will dust yourself off real quick, present yourself, hold your shirt up, button it up, And that lady ain't say nothing, not one word. Because when you look at her, you know this lady don't play. You know that you got to come with respect. And everything that your mother taught you, you were ready to present it to this lady like, yes, ma'am. You run into the door to open the door for her. You don't know her from a can of paint. But there's just certain women that just demands that. And it's certain men that demand that the way they walk in the room as well. There's men that walk in the room and other men just waiting for them to speak. I remember I was, and it's one of the guys that I wanted to bring on the show. His name is Dr. Brian Hope. I told him before, hey, I've been trying to get you on the show before you blew up because I know the type of man that you are, and I know how good you were to the community, and now people are starting to see how powerful this man is. And he said when he came into his conference one day, he didn't say nothing. He just walked up to the stage, and the room just went quiet, right? And he didn't say nothing for a while, and everybody's looking at him. And it's just to show that the demand of who you are, the way you move, the room moves with the way that you're projecting. So I just wanted to say that real quick. I know you're going to chop it up, Bobby. Go ahead. I'll pass it over to you.
No, a lot of great, valuable gems being tossed out. For those watching, if you haven't figured it out by now, basically what's happened is we all took out our little pickaxes, and there's this really nice gem mine behind us. And for your pleasure, we've been chipping away and digging out and getting all the jewels out for you all. So I really hope that a lot of people are benefiting from the great game that's being bestowed out to the people this evening. This is really solid. Dr. L, I have great respect for you, solid brother. But in the interest of my privacy and my personal freedoms, I'm going to humbly request that you please take your listening devices out of my home and out of my vehicle. I trust you. I believe you're a good brother. I'm pretty sure, even with the law enforcement background, you're not going to, try to, expose my secrets or turn me in anywhere. But I would really appreciate it if you just get little bugs from my lamp or my ceiling fan or wherever you got them stashed, because I must say that whole breakdown about celebrities and athletes at least maybe once a week. I think I was just talking about this last week on the show, in fact. Because of these athletes, these entertainers, but specifically the athletes, right? Because you have a lot of entertainers that break into the business in their adult years. They might go the starving artist route and wait tables and just do gigs in their adult years. But with most of the professional athletes, especially today, they were basically on a professional track from their early years. I remember Antonio Cromartie said on his reality show a while back that he basically was a professional football player from the age of 5 years old, because it was his dream to play football from 5 years old. And every time he put on his pads and helmet from childhood, he was playing and working with the objective of making it to the pro leagues. So when he retired, I think he was like 26 or 27 when he retired. He's like, I might be young, but I basically lived a whole lifetime playing this game. So as soon as these athletes, as soon as it was clear that this person has a real shot at making it to somebody's professional league before they even touch puberty, they were getting attention from the opposite sex. They were in junior high, they were in high school, they had girls coming to them, taking the initiative, taking the lead, faking interest in them, listening to them, hoping to get chosen at that stage when all the rest of us had to get it out of the mud. So when they're adults, and that's the experience that you spoke to, Major, they're coming to you, someone whose livelihood comes down to being able to read the room, understand the psychology of people, who had to get your skills about the mud. You didn't have that hand to you on a silver platter. They don't have those skills. They might know how to, catch a pass from 60 yards out. They might know how to, throw a perfect spiral touchdown pass. They might know how to read defenses and pick them apart. But when it comes to, I'm Mitch, what's your name? They don't have those skills because they've never had to work at that. And so that's why I have some level of grace when I see these athletes, even the Shannon Sharps, getting played, because Shannon Sharp at age 60, I know for a fact he does not have the interpersonal skills of a young man who is 19, 20 years old, who doesn't have the benefit of getting multi-million dollars on a regular basis. And so it goes to the importance of being able to develop these skills, but also understanding that it really doesn't matter whether you're at that level, you've been able to hobnob with the elite of society, or whether you've been able to get it out the mud as a club promoter. Everyone is still having the same issues. And we're seeing that even with your finances is the great equalizer, or your mouthpiece is the great equalizer, these are issues that everyone is experiencing.
Yeah.
I would present that the issue that everyone is experiencing is result of not just feminism, but the breakdown of the nuclear family. The biggest issue is, and I've said this before, we take it for granted what being raised in a nuclear household means. When it comes to dating, interpersonal skills with the opposite sex, both male and female, what happens is we have the benefit, and unfortunately these days it's a luxury, of sitting in a minimum 20-year internship. You get to sit at the feet of your father, the feet of your mother, and you literally 24/7, it's like a nonstop reality show. You have the pleasure of being able to watch your parents engage with one another. So you see the highs, the lows. You see mom and dad when they're on the best of terms with each other. You see them when they're having their little fights and tussles, even when they try to keep it from the kids.
Yeah.
You see when mom and dad got the cold shoulder with one another. You see when they're making up with one another. You see the romance. You see the partnership. You see what it takes to make a relationship work, even if you're not conscious of it. And so when you go out into the world, you have this 2 decades of experience, this weapons cache in your arsenal to call from. And so it's more normal to be able to interact with men and with women. The problem is because now these homes have become rare or less common, you're now out here with bad information or no information at all. So you're trying to make it work with people, and you have fairy tales or you have media information as your primary source of how relationships work, and it's not working. But the biggest issue of all is that men and women are no longer coming to the table in good faith. Because all relationships call for negotiation. There's trade-offs. She's not perfect. I'm not perfect. We come to the table. These are my flaws. These are my issues. But this is what I'm looking for. You do the same. And now we're picking through the pieces. Well, I can work with this. I can work with that. Don't care for that too much. Okay, this is what I have. What do you have? Okay, well, I hate when you do that. I really love this. I'm on the fence about this. This is what I have. Okay, this is where we're coming from. Can we make this work? But too often we find that people are coming to the table and saying, this is what I want. It's my way or the highway. And they're not even presenting their shortcomings. They're not even presenting what their drawbacks are. It's just, you have to meet everything that I desire. And I'm not concerned about trying to meet you where you are. And it's utterly impossible to have functional, healthy relationships when that's the mindset, when it's all about what can you do for me? And there's no servant mindset of, well, how can I serve you? What can I do to help or complement you? Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest issue. So when you have people that don't have that background of what functional relationships look like, bringing their delusions to the table and saying, well, you must meet my delusions, then it's no wonder you have people who are well in their 70s and their 80s talking about, well, they're stuck here in the dating scene. How could it be anything other than that, realistically speaking? And well, I don't have this Chevy, but I'm gonna park my ATV. My Chevy's in the shop right
now. So we talk about dating. I wanted to show this clip real quick because I think it kind of sums up a little bit of the struggles that I think people are going through.
Introducing our first contestant.
Y'all ain't even see me yet.
Okay, let's go to this first young lady. Excuse me, ma'am. Why did you pop your balloon? serious? I thought that was a joke. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next girl. Ma'am, I don't like the glasses. They make you look like a minion. You're bald. You're bald. You are bald. Your head is shaped like a thumb. You look like the thumb people from Spy Kids. Your gap is dumb. Grown-ass man without straight teeth. Imagine. I should punch you dead in your shit for even coming out here and embarrassing the black community like this. But I really enjoy your movies, Mr. Tyler Perry. I do. Okay, moving on to the next. Ma'am, why did you pop your balloon? I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I just don't date my grandfather's friends or anyone who looks like they fought in the same war as him. So it's a no for me. It's not my life. Oh, okay, let's move on to the next woman.
I just wanted to give you guys a little joke.
I see no lies. I was hunting for the lies feverishly. I saw not a one.
No lies detected.
Mercy.
And
man.
That right there, I think that speaks directly to Bobby's point that he was just making about how people don't come to the table in good faith no more. Like, I was just getting on a young lady earlier today, like, for that same thing. She like, you know, the lady who was going viral for showing off her ring and telling her girlfriends, you know, I ain't paying y'all no mind. I got my ring, this, that, and the third. And she was like, she was basically talking about how she put in the work, and that's why she got that ring. And basically, y'all knucklehead ass should go out here and put in the work too. And she was spot on. You know what I'm saying? But like, all the clapback, you know, the girl, her comment was, you know, well, I ain't finna be folding no clothes, and I ain't finna be doing this if I ain't got no ring, and I ain't finna be doing that if I ain't got no ring. And I had to get on her a little bit. I'm like, look, mama, you need to put your best foot forward, period. You understand? Whatever that looks like, that's what you need to do. You need to choose properly and put your best foot forward. You dig? And like, if you're not doing that, what are you doing? You know, like a lot of people, they come to the dating, to the sexual marketplace, as Kevin Samuels would say. They come to the sexual marketplace jaded, cynical. Like, what these niggas finna say? These tired ass females, you know, like it's that type of thing, and we got to get off that. Like, if you're not gonna put your best foot forward, you need to go heal and then come back. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a lot of the problem too. A lot of people don't take no time between relationships because they don't take relationships seriously. They don't take any time off between relationships and just kind of heal and get to know themselves and, you know, learn from the mistakes that they made in that relationship before they jump into something else. And it's like that. I see that all the time on that show. These people, they don't even come. As soon as they walk out, everybody pop their balloon. Because, you know, he didn't have on a Gucci belt or something stupid. Like, really, bro? How old are we? That grinds my gears, man. I'm just saying, like, yo, he probably had a crease in his jeans. I'm just saying, yes. That type of BS. Is that what we are? Come on, man. I don't know. What y'all say?
I think that I think the environment has really messed up people's heads, and they go up there for clout. I mean, they're on the internet for clout. They're on the internet to gain followers, to their 10 minutes of fame or whatever. It's a plague, it's a virus, it's a mind virus. You know, it's everything. And so again, from the male perspective, we got to hold our ground, right? We got to hold our ground and not watch it, not entertain it, not entertain ladies who think this way. You know, and those days are gone where a woman would get with a dude and if she didn't like the way he dressed, she would dress him the way she wanted to, right? Those days are gone. Those days are gone. And until the environment changes, it's going to continue to be that. As long as they get clicks and likes and build up their own Instagram followings, that's all they care about. I mean, there was a few. I I don't know if it was a study or a couple of ladies said that. I think it was a study that they said that they would rather have a few thousand followers who are constantly giving them validation than be in a real relationship.
Yeah.
And so that is very telling. That is very telling as to where we are. So
Yeah.
it's a tough sell for us to get back to where we were.
Yes.
Exactly. Now that leads us to our next clip, which you guys are gonna see. This to me, and it's not. You guys really have to. If you're not following Dr. L's podcast, please take the time to go subscribe now. You will see some gems on his platform, and the way he methodically handled this woman in a very professional way, and she still had a nerve to say that he was argumentative and he was looking to destroy her image, and she was mad. And I'm like, all this man did was take her words and use her own words against her and have her explaining things. And the fact about it is, a lot of people post stuff, say stuff, and cannot defend what they say because there's not a lot of people who know real facts, who know real information, who know real history to debunk a lot of stuff. And Dr. L is one of those people that knows a lot about in each area. And he saw it because somebody sent him a clip. He reached out to her to have the discussion. And once she got on stage, she thought she was on a platform that was going to have an echo chamber to what she was saying, and found out the hard way that that was not a good week for her. But you guys are going to see exactly what we talk about, and we're definitely going to have a conversation about it. All right, so it is right here.
That too is your analysis that you just said just now, and I think a little bit in the video that you said is that there is a lack of men in the home, and I want to get to that in a minute there.
In the community.
And now you're saying in the community, okay. We'll unpack that in a second here, but but you're saying that they were tricked. I'm just asking who did the tricking. That's what I'm saying. And so we acknowledge, or are you acknowledging that men are vital parts of the community for its protection, for its leadership, for just stability and
that is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying.
Okay. And so therefore, men in particular have been, women in particular, Black women in particular, have been tricked out of what you're saying, and what I had another author, Dr. Diane Stewart, on, saying that this is exactly what you said, go back to slavery, go back to the 70s, go back to the 60s, that something happened. And so therefore we're in this particular place right now. So that's kind of what you're acknowledging is that someone did the tricking. And I'm just asking you to narrow down who it was that was tricked. Was it other Black women who tricked them? Was it white women who tricked them through the feminist movement? Was it Black men who tricked them? Who tricked them into getting into this particular place? That's all I'm asking.
No, I mean, we can start with the opponent, the enemy. We can start there. The enemy is always behind demonic things happening. That's one. Slavery, that's another. The 60s, the 70s, that's another. Being sexualized, music, that's another. Having to provide for oneself because the men were there was a decline. And so now there's all these independent single women. So the video wasn't to not acknowledge that other stuff. It was just to kind of motivate Black American. I'm not talking about Black women in general, just Black American women, to learn how to be more open and learn how to understand that the single rates are very high because you've been tricked into being prideful, because it doesn't matter if it's the feminist movement. It doesn't matter if we go back to slavery. It doesn't matter what we choose. You've been bamboozled, period.
Well, I think I hear what you're saying, but I think it does matter, because I think that you have to identify who tricked you, why they did it, and what the plan is to do something about that tricking. I think that's the point. To be tricked is a volatile word, and it implies intention. It implies, deceit, deception, and with intention. And if somebody sets out to trick you, they're trying to get something from you. They're trying, right? You're a biblical person, right? The thief comes, but for to kill, to steal, and to destroy. That's trickery. So
the real trick is the devil, then, right?
No, well, that's what you're saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's what you're saying. But I'm saying that somewhere along the lines there was a tricking and there was an intentional deceit. That's what I'm saying. And when I'm just trying to hone in on who did that tricking and what your plan is to do about that. So I want to move on from that particular point. So I get what you said a lot about, okay, this has happened to Black women. But then what I didn't appreciate is the attack on Black men. And I'm assuming this is what you meant when you said, when you listed off all these numbers about incarceration. I'm going to play it again, but I want to hear exactly what you said, because I want to get it correctly, and I'm going to stop it every time. Hold on, let me add this to the stage here, because I want to focus in on what you said here so we can get it right. Y'all hit the like button too.
This is what the stats are showing. The lowest marital rates, the last to get married in America.
Okay, so let's just stop right there. Why is it that Black women, in your opinion, and you said stats don't matter, so it's going to be your opinion, which I'm assuming you can back up with data. Why is it that Black women, right? Why is it that Black women have the lowest rates?
Why? Well, because you guys aren't marrying Black women. You guys are you have to ask for someone's hand in marriage, right? Black American men are the least to get married amongst all cultures, amongst all Black men in general. So you guys aren't asking. So you guys aren't marriage minded. You guys don't have gurus. You guys don't have your mentors. The average Black American man does not value marriage. Listen to the music. Listen to, look at the average Black man. He's not marriage minded.
Well, so there's more Black men who are married than there are Black women, and there's 2 million more.
By a small percentage. Let me tell you what that percentage is. 30. I think it's let's see. I think let's say 37. If it's 33% of Black women in America are married, it's maybe 37% of Black American men are, but also it's showing that 21% of them are married to other. So a lot of them are not marrying Black women or not marrying at all. So the average Black American man does not value marriage because he doesn't understand that two heads are better than one. He doesn't understand that favor is added to your life when you marry a woman. Favor is added to your life. There aren't enough gurus. There aren't enough mentors. And there's a lot of Black American men that would rather say, you women are the problem. Only in the Black American culture will you find men that blame women. Let me tell you something. I have X chromosomes, right? You do too, but I have XX. You have XY. I have estrogen. You have testosterone. Who's the stronger vessel? Is testosterone stronger than estrogen? Is Y chromosome stronger than the X chromosome? So then with that being said, how is it that in the Black American culture, there are cultures that are matriarch, but it's an agreed upon thing. So in this Black American culture that is matriarch, women are running the show. Women are head. Women are more educated. Women are more successful. Black American women are the highest educated group amongst all cultures and races. Why is that? And
you keep saying this stuff, but none. That's not true. That's not true.
Okay,
I let you go. I let you go on for a little.
It is true, but
it's not true. It's not true. I've been through the numbers.
Okay, well, they have higher education. They have higher educational rates than Black men. That's for sure.
Okay.
That's for sure. Black American men. That's for sure. And so,
right.
So this is the only group where the men blame the women. How can a woman be stronger than you as a man? There are not enough men leading. There are not enough men that are representing Ephesians 5, which is being head, which is being a protector, being a provider, loving a woman like Christ loved the church. There is not enough men doing that. We are not, women, Black American women are not being led. They're not being led. So they are independent, many of them. They are defended, many of them. They have a I don't need a man attitude.
Okay, so it can't be two things at once. Either Black men are not leading, or it's that they have this strong independent attitude. So
No. Black men aren't leading, and so that's what's leading to the strong independent attitude.
Okay, so but what about there are Black men who are leading? There's more marriages.
How many? 5 of them? 5 of them?
Okay, so now we're going to get into pejoratives.
How
I mean,
many?
you're the one that's talking about stats. So we know that 54% of Black men.
I come from a patriarch family where men lead. There are not many women, Black American women, that come from a patriarch family. So
Okay,
you're okay. So five of you are leading, right?
Yeah, right. So
okay.
All right, so that I just wanted. It's a long interview. You guys really have to trust me. We don't have the mind space tonight to go through that.
Sweet baby Jesus on Black Friday.
Wow.
As you can see,
can we pause for a second so I can go to the store? I need a whole cart. I don't need a pack. I need a carton of Newports. I need to smoke. I need nicotine right now. My God Almighty.
This is what Dr. L's podcast people had to say. So he had to send him some money for that interview. If you guys have to watch it, I put it in the chat for you guys to watch it. I'm not sure if you guys caught it.
Minister Misty, can you send me $5, please? Because just that tip alone, my God, my nerves are shot.
So, so I really wanted to give Dr. L his flowers on that. You guys really have to see the entire interview for him to see how he just methodically debunked everything she said. And I think I reached out. I'm not sure if I reached out to Dr. L afterwards and told him that, or I'm not sure if I wrote it in the chat. I can't remember what it was, but I said that this woman is cosplaying as Black American. She's not Black American. She's actually Nigerian. Even if the name alone lets you know that. And the way a lot of people, especially even though they have African parents and they might be born in America as first gen here in America, they still have a cultural disdain for Black Americans because not all, there's a lot of African writers out there. Let me clarify that. But there are a lot of people from the diaspora, Africa, Jamaica, the Caribbeans. I'm Jamaican. And I can tell you when I was growing up, my family told me, stay away from Black Americans. And they had every disdain and every negative stereotype and trope to talk about Black Americans. When I
break that down for us. Why would they say that? Break that down from us, from your perspective, from your family's perspective. Why do they feel as if they are better, superior? What's that about?
It's a cultural thing because a lot of times people from the diaspora are tribal, and a lot of times we never had, especially back then, there's no real form of clear communication from people from the Caribbean, I'll say Jamaica, to America. You would have to go there to experience it yourself. I don't know particularly what the interaction with certain people when they visit Black Americans, but I know from basically the people that I know is that they just have this ideology and they're told that Black Americans are this way. Some of it comes from white systematic supremacy to divide Black Americans from Jamaicans or people from the diaspora. Even remember, and this is factual, that Marcus Garvey, who we as Jamaicans praise as a hierarchy, just like Jah Rastafari from Ethiopia, we praise him as well. But Marcus Garvey is one of the high idols that we hold. And remember, Marcus Garvey was trying to get this unity started in Jamaica, and he had to travel to America and get the backing from Black Americans to really be as iconic as he was. He didn't get that from the people here, because the people here was like, yo, you talking nonsense. The Black Americans were the one that rallied behind him and got his message out to where he now sits as an iconic person. So that is factual stuff. You know, it's a lot of stereotypes that go behind the division of people. But like I tell people before, when your parents, no matter how your parents raised you, to a certain age, they're responsible for how they raised you. But after a certain age, when you become an adult, it is your responsibility to change you and mold yourself into the correct way. You now can't blame your parents for what they have done to you outside of the realms of not protecting you if it's something that is abusive or sexual like that. Outside of that realm, we're talking about being raised by a healthy family, but also just giving you wrong information. When you get older, you have to, I call it, unlearn to relearn the proper way in order for you to be very successful in this lifetime. So from my perspective, I see it as a lot of stereotypes that was projected onto us to tell us to be divisive and stay away from them because they're our enemy. But in reality, when I was growing up, foundational Black Americans were the ones that helped me to mold me who I am today. My thought process and everything like that is because of foundational Black Americans. I grew up in New York. It seemed like all Jamaicans, all they knew back in the day was, hey, go to New York. New York is a place to go. So I was born in New York, and my parents met in New York, both of them from Jamaica. So when I went to New York, I used to hang around a lot of guys that were considered 5%ers, or what you guys call, what they call them now, conspiracy theorists, right? So I grew up with a lot of knowledge and a lot of books. They were showing me the right way. And then that drifted off into the Nation of Islam and just getting that type of powerful knowledge in that perspective. And that helped me to understand that, yo, we're programmed to hate each other. And in reality, a lot of these Black Americans, when it comes to foreigners, they actually try to ease them into America and try to give them the comfort of being protected in the right way and not be caught up into a lot of the stuff that is very detrimental. And I don't think that part of the process is clear or is projected in that way. And that's why the continuous negativity goes on. When you look at what you call it, World Star and all these other big publicity blog sites, a lot of them are created by people from the foreign land, whether from Africa or from a Caribbean island. And you notice all they project is negative imagery on Black American folks. So they kind of perpetuate white supremacy under the guise of self-hate from their own people. And I'll land my plane on that. I don't want to go too deep into that.
So from my perspective here, the conversation that I was hoping to have with Dr. Chiaku was to try to get to the numbers, try to get her to understand the numbers, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, she and a number of videos of her, if you go to her TikTok page, has a number of videos with somewhere tricked in the title. Tricked out of this, tricked out of that. So again, I wanted to press on who tricked you, how would you get tricked, and what do you do about it? And I was hoping to really kind of settle those two things. Number one was a trick part. And number two was, okay, here are the real numbers. Okay, here are the real numbers about how many Black men are incarcerated in gangs, who has the biggest gang membership. She said gang mentality. I don't even know what that means. So I wanted to get to all of that. I wanted to, kind of dive through all that. And of course, we saw how the interview went. She got very defensive immediately. So we never got to it. And it's really unfortunate. And she so after that particular video, I released a video saying what I wish I would have said to her, and how I wanted the conversation to go is exactly what I said right now. She followed up. I don't know if she watched that video, but she followed up a couple days after that original video with an email saying don't contact her, and here are the numbers, and kind of doubling down. Then she released an audio podcast only, which was about an hour and 5 minutes, all about how the interview went. And then the halfway point, she really brought me up again. Didn't mention any stats from blackdemographics.com or from the CDC or from Pew Research or from any other reputable site, just said these numbers. And then I sent her a text saying, whatever, you can come back on, we can talk about it, whatever. And then just today, a couple of hours before we hook up here, she sends me another text message, and she sends me a video of this guy who calls himself, these are his words, from Instagram. She sent me an Instagram of a guy who calls himself the fairy godbrother, who is giving advice to women, black women. I don't know, but she says, and he's lambasting black men, and starts off with wrong information. So I'm like, okay, listen, I don't know why you would send me this. She sent me a text message. I wrote her a long email saying, I don't know why you would send me this. Essentially, you can come back on here. You can talk about it. We can go through the numbers about marriage. And this guy was saying about how marriage rates and black men don't want to get married. And, same kind of spiel about all that. So, and she's like, why don't you have him on the show? I'm like, and I this is going to sound arrogant, but I promise you I'm not. John Henry Clark said, I only debate my equals. Everybody else I teach.
That's what he said.
So
yeah.
So I sent that to her. I sent her the clip too. I'm not just going to have some guy who called himself the fairy god brother on the show, because I had you on because you have this moniker of doctor, and I wanted to have a conversation with you because you're supposed to know this stuff or know the numbers, and you're working somewhat close to this field as far as being a psychoanalyst. So you ought to know this. And you ought to be trying to help whatever the situation is. You're trying to help. So, and I wanted to. She sent me that today. So I responded with that email and just this then. And I said, listen, I understand that we're probably never going to see eye to eye about this, but to send me this information that is again incorrect and want me to have this guy on my show, I'm not going to have him on my show. It's really disappointing that it goes down to that. Dr. Chiaku seems to me to be, I don't know if she was extremely disappointed. Again, if her parents were from Nigeria or for wherever, gets here to the U.S., hooks up with a couple of guys, and it just goes terribly, terribly wrong. That's what it seems like to me, and to a number of other people who watched the video, which, and it's unfortunate. Do we as black men need to do better? I think we can all agree that yes. Do we need to have higher marital rates? Yes. Do we need to have 66% of black men who have a child live in some type of cohabitation and or marriage with their child's mother? It's the small amount of pookies out here who are out here doing all the craziness. Do we need to raise that 66% up to 80 or 90% in line with the rest of the rest of society or the male society, at least here in America? We all agree with that yes. And I would have been willing to have that conversation, but for another sister to kick dust on us and to put out this false information was just too much for me to bear. I think I have a video dropping tomorrow morning, actually, about how I stayed calm in this. I think it's tomorrow morning, sometime this week, about how I stayed calm in that particular interview. It was frustrating. It's frustrating for me to have sisters doing this. And again, let me just leave this here, that she was talking to me in this text message saying that it's time for black women to date out. Now, listen, if you want to date out, go ahead and date out. Go ahead and date out. But understand this. And again, this is the point that I wanted to get to. If you have been tricked, it seems to me if you're going to start dating out, you're falling for the tricking. That's what it seems like to me. I mean, if you just want to date out, you just think you can't find any good black men. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and try to beg you to stay with us. But if you're saying that you've been tricked, who tricked you? And what is the result that they were trying to achieve? Is this the result that they're trying to achieve? So I'll leave it there. That's why I wanted to accomplish with Dr. Chiaku. We're never going to see eye to eye, but that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you chop it up, Major, and I know Bobby's ready to chop it up too. I
You
just
know,
want
my
to say
blood
this.
pressure is
Yeah,
raising, right? Like, yo,
I just
what?
want to say,
Mhm.
thanks again, Dr. L. Thank you again for dismantling this woman, because now you got her scrambling and going crazy. Because I tell people all the time, if you're emotional, you're not gonna win any argument. And emotions will never trump facts. That's why Dr. L could be cool and she is irated, because she's coming with emotions and opinions, and Dr. L is debunking her with facts. And the way you maneuvered yourself, Dr. L, and debunked her is the same way that I use that method to debunk racists. And she's using racial tropes, stereotypes about Black folks. And if you are, and I just want your audience and my audience to know this, if you are not a Black person who understands real information, factual information, and know how to strategically debunk people, please do not engage with these people. Because let me tell you something, as much as you want to engage with them, what you're going to do is you're going to end up making them look superior. And that's why you have a lot of Charlie Kirks, you have a lot of these Steve Bannons, you have a lot of all these other racial people who get money on higher platforms to exude all of these racial stereotypes, and then they go and debate people who don't know nothing. They select, some of them, I always say majority of them, hand select the people that they challenge so that they can look real good and debunk them and make it seem like what they're saying is total sense. And the problem is when those people come across somebody that they didn't handpick and they didn't know had valuable information, righteous information, factual information, then they got to backtrack and throw all type of projections at you and say all type of things to make it seem like now you're the villain and now they can play the victim. And that's what you'll see when you watch that, how fast she went to play the victim. And she was saying, "Oh, you came on here to destroy my name, and you're being argumentative." And she just went to flipping into a victim mode, and that's very dangerous. But I love how Dr. L still kept his cool, and he still methodically destroyed her in that way. So the way she was talking about Black Americans, you could tell that she has foreign entity in her, because somebody from the Black American, I've been around a lot of Black American, especially Black American sisters. They don't talk like that. And if they're uneducated in what they speak about, when you give them facts, they'll listen and then they'll say, you know what, you're right. And then they'll correct themselves, or they'll research up on it and get back with you and even give you more information on that will solidify exactly what you said. Because I've run across a lot of Black Americans and I've educated them as well. And they come off as, I want to learn too. Thank you for showing me how to do that. I've showed people how to go against racists and how to debunk them, because a lot of times they'll use a lot of these racial stereotypes and tropes, and they say, "Oh, well, the Black people are doing all the killing in the neighborhood," right? So you say, and I promise you, I had so many people delete and block me when I said this, right? This is my rebuttal for that. They say, "Oh, Black people kill at so much and is a little bit of the population, 13%, but you have all the killing." So I said, "Oh, that's true, right? So we can agree to that, right?" And they say, "Yeah, we agree to that." I said, "Okay, so Black people kill more at 13% versus the 67% of your population, but we kill more." I said, "No, it's not that we kill more. is that you're adding the killings versus the percentage of our population. Because in reality, white people kill more people in general than black people. So then they say, well, okay. And then I said, all right, you know what? I'll give you that argument then. If you say that we kill more on that level, then what about black people being killed by police? Because we're killed at a higher percentage at a low population versus white people. Now, mind you, more white people get killed by the police than black people. But if you're saying that it's not a problem for us to be killed at a higher percentage by cops, but yet you have a problem of us and the killing at a higher percentage in that direction, it don't add up. And automatically when they sit back and they realize like, oh shit, this don't make sense, they delete and block me and go on their business, because now I done debunked your argument using something else you were defending. So you have to understand statistics, facts, and everything like that, so you can debunk a lot of these people, because a lot of people, all they do is just use racial tropes. They use passed down talking points that can be easily debunked. There is no need for you to go out there and harm nobody like Charlie Kirk or anybody like that. Just know your information and you can debunk them and make them look silly. And I'll land my plane on that. Go ahead, Major.
Well said, bro. Listen, there's so much with that lady to address. I mean, it's wild. The comments, even while she was talking, it's Jamal's fault took me out. Like, I'd be like, yo, people are already peeping her bullshit while she's talking. You understand? Like, they're heavy in it. So that tells me that you have an intelligent audience. And I appreciate that, because you don't find many platforms that have an intelligent audience. Let's just keep it a buck.
Facts.
All right. So, like, I really appreciate that. And what's so crazy about what she was saying is the confidence that she had in her ignorance. She was breathtakingly confident in her ignorance. She doesn't know anything. Everything she was saying was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, her statistics were wrong. Her whole mindset was wrong. If you approach dating with that energy, those are the outcomes that you're going to get. I mean, the hatred was so thick you could cut it with a knife. I have to take my hat off to you for tolerating her, because man, that was some serious misandrous energy she was leading with. My God. I had someone that just a couple weeks ago, someone that I tried to, like you said, I debate my equals, all others I teach. So I'm trying to teach this woman something about understanding, she made some weird statement about baby mamas and, men. Do you think you're going to see a granddaughter or a daughter-in-law first, and then stop talking crap about single mothers, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I give people the benefit of the doubt that I know. I'm like, okay, maybe she don't mean it or doesn't understand that she's coming off away when she's saying this. But like, for the last year, people have been sending me stuff, about how she's being disrespectful to men when she speaks. And I'm like, I'm trying to talk to her. Hey, sis, is that really where you want to go? And I'm trying to kind of nudge her, like, hey, and challenge her on her points. And, of course, she just lashing out. So I kind of let her have it a little bit, because it's important to do that. And, I see what you're trying to do. I think it's very important to know, at least from my perspective, because you said that y'all are never going to see eye to eye. That's a way of looking at it, I guess. I see it as this right and this wrong. You know what I'm saying? And what you're trying to do and what she's trying to do are not the same thing. She's trying to lash out and resolve, hampered trauma by lashing out at men or whatever. And she got the fangs out. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just starts reciting all these white supremacist talking points. Those are 4chan talking points about black men that she was saying. You understand? That's a white supremacist website. She was spitting them. one by one by one. And I'm like, oh my God, you know. So you're trying to help the community heal by helping it face its problems. She seems like she's just trying to bitch and moan about things that she's heard about. It ain't the same, you know, and that's the same reason I had to cut this other person off. Because, yo, I'm trying to tell you, yo, I hear what you're saying. And yes, some guys do talk really poorly about single mothers. Yeah. But there's also a point to be made about baby mama culture and how we promote it and how it's so accepted in our society that's not good for the community. Don't conflate those two things, because there's some criticism that is valid. And then there's some stuff that's just slander. To a common sense thinking person that supposedly wants to help people find love and all this old shit, that's supposed to resonate. You understand? But if you're just being emotional and you're not listening to what people are saying, or maybe you have a different agenda, you're going to dismiss that. You're going to get angry and upset. And it's like, I just want to say, you know, not just to you, but to everybody, I see what you're doing. I see you. In that exchange, I could see you. I didn't see her at all, at least not in the community. You understand? Or being someone who's legitimately trying to help the community. Some people's idea of help ain't help at all. You know, I don't see, you know, a lot of times you'll have a great dialogue going with like-minded people that are putting their best foot forward and want to find solutions. And when you have someone like that enter the fray, unfortunately, all the energy just goes dark because she's in attack mode. You know what I mean? And it's plain to see. You can cut the hatred with a knife, you know, and it's sad, but a lot of sisters, unfortunately, I see that with, and a lot of brothers too. The difference is this. This is the difference. I say this humbly, but I noticed, because, you know, she's an educated sister. She's high-minded. She's supposed to be one of those people that, you know, you look to for guidance, right? I see more often than not with a lot of these, the more educated sisters, they co-sign the BS. You know what I'm saying? They, even though they're educated and they're at a higher level, supposedly they co-sign a lot of the BS. But I don't see many brothers that are educated like yourself co-signing our BS. You said something very important in that last exchange. You said, hey, yeah, there are some things that black men need to work on. We need to change, and, you know, we need to tighten up, and let's make a solution towards doing that. Let's move on it. Right? The problem is, she will never say that about black women. Or if she does say that about black women, it's going to be, yeah, but the men's is doing this. You understand what I'm saying? It's never just, we need to tighten up, let's do it. It's always some bullshit deflection. You know, I mean, man, you know, they got the best dodges since the last goddamn Charger that they put out. You understand what I'm saying? Like, she's dodging every point. You dig? And this is what I'm saying. Like, peep that, because you're trying to fix a problem. She's trying to vent. You understand? And she don't know the way to really articulate herself properly, because all that stuff she was saying, there's no website or periodical anywhere that has those things that she listed as facts. It was all bullshit. So, you know, y'all not doing the same thing. So you it's not, to me, as far as I'm concerned now, y'all, it's not that y'all don't see eye to eye. She just don't know what she's talking about. And you trying to put her on game and she won't shut up. That's just what it is. I'll park this shit.
Well, I love the fact that if you notice in the video, when Dr. L was like, okay, just tell me what the statistics are. She was like, I think it's 34, 37. I'm not really sure. Now, the problem with that is you're a professional. And a lot of women, they have a lot of male clients. And we've seen that. And shout out to all the women out there that got Shabri Rawls fired. That was the other therapist that went viral and got fired because of the the misandrous disdain she had for black men, and she told her audience on her live that she has a lot of male clients.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to the women out there that went and got this woman fired, because a lot of women, especially everybody watching here, a lot of women have male children. And you don't want your son to grow up and need help, and the person he gets help from is this doctor or Shabri Rawls, and they're in there giving him misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying he's the problem, and they're talking down on him, beating down on him, and he's paying good money to think that he's the problem. And the problem with that is a lot of the men will leave there and commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They don't get credit for it, because all they would get is, we tried to help him, and not realizing that you were the source that actually an accelerator that pushed him in that direction. And it's very dangerous to have these type of women sit in these chairs doing that type of work. And I'm so glad that Dr. L's video went viral. And in that, it's it's an hour and some change of him just debunking her left and right. And if I'm somebody who went to her, I'm going to find out how I can get my money back.
Facts.
Because there is no way I should be paying somebody with those type of degrees to give me BS information and have that much disdain for me. And I land my plane on this, and I'll just say that it is very important, fellas. It's very important, fellas, to start taking back our rightful places in the school system, in these therapy spaces, any space that we used to have back in the days that was very successful to our young men. I think we have gotten away from those spaces. And I know you said something that was super dope when you did that interview with the other lady that I was trying to get on the podcast. Can't remember her name. She's a doc. She's a therapist too. But while you was discussing in that interview, you said something as, there's a lot. She said something, and then you had pushed back on it and was like, well, there's a lot of spaces that men had created that women had infiltrated and kind of broken up those safe havens because they were co-op. And I thought that was very powerful, because it's not like we want to exclude our sisters out of it, but there's some places that we just need to have for solid brothers to have solid dialogues. This is one of the reasons why a lot of men will spend 3-4 hours. I've done it before in the barbershop, having intellectual conversations and discussions around other fellas that are like-minded, because we don't get that source of energy elsewhere. And I'll land my plane on that. Go ahead, Bobby.
Oh, first off, took a look at her YouTube channel, and as soon as I saw the name for it, Spiritual Psych Decoder, I was like, okay, yeah. she ticking off all the boxes. Okay. Yeah. While I was listening to that psychobabble, there was, first off, I might need to go and find me a therapist come Monday, because the PTSD I have no doubt acquired, it's going to be ringing in my skull for at least a few weeks. I definitely need to get that out of my system.
Crazy.
But the thing that jumped out at me the most, listening to her, especially once she really got defensive and really got in her feelings, and then listening to Dr. L describe the aftermath of the of that show, I just kept reflecting on that old legal adage, and I don't know if you heard it before, Dr. L, where it says, when you don't have the facts, argue the law. When you don't have the law, argue the facts. If you don't have the facts or the law, pound on the table and yell like crazy.
There it is. There it is.
That right there, if I had to give anyone, if anyone heard me say that and they're like, well, what does that mean? I don't understand. I would show them some clips from that right then and there, and that would explain everything. She had neither the facts nor the law. And when she knew that you had her dead to rights, it became her pounding and fully leading into making an emotional battle. But you stood your ground. You didn't let yourself be dragged into that. You said, no, sis, I hear you. I hear you want to fight me with, your opinions and your emotions, but here's a sword. You drop this. We're sword fighting now. This isn't a pew-pew battle. Go ahead, grab your sword, pick it up. Let's bat to this combat the right way. And she couldn't do it adequately, which is why she was spiraling out of control even after the fact. She just couldn't leave it on the battlefield. She lost. Rather than take the L, go home and lick her wounds, she had to keep on pushing. No, I'm not done yet. I want my lick back. She's got a black eyes, the eyes hanging out the socket, her arms dislocated. She's got to have at least several broken ribs. Her whole kneecap is twisted, and she's missing teeth. But come back here, you ain't got me yet. Ma'am, please learn to quit while you are behind. But it goes to show that a lot of people out here are really and truly wounded. And we have to be mindful of this, because this isn't to kick her while she's down. She was saying some very nasty and disgusting things, but ultimately this isn't to dance on her grave, which is very well dug, but it's to serve as a reminder that understand, if a person desires to be wounded, if you've been hurt, if you've been damaged, if you suffered some emotional wounds from relationships you've been in or things that went awry, expectations not met, if you want to remain in your brokenness, that's 112% your right. Nobody has the right to force you to be well or to become whole. No one has that right. If you want to be injured and damaged, more power to you. You have the right to be battered and bloodied and broken. The problem we encounter, and this is where the beef with her and people like her comes in. You don't have the right to come all over Major, Anthony, Dr. L, myself, other people, and bleed all over us. You don't have the right. Now, got to go in full Frank Lucas mode and get on your neck now. Ma'am, this is genuine alpaca. You don't rub that shit. You blot that shit. Don't come over here and assume that because you enjoy being bloodied and bruised that we enjoy. No. That's your pleasure. That's your kink. Go be kinky and freaky and nasty as you want to be by yourself with other people that like that. Don't bring that over here with people who in many cases have done the work, have put in the blood, sweat, and tears to get themselves whole, and now you want to go ahead and, nah, this ain't that kind of affair, this ain't that kind of party. There's a huge issue where we have people who are damaged, and rather than go and do the work where they're seeking a professional to help them out, which is advised, or to just sit in silence and tranquility and reflect and do the self-work, they want to now go out here and spread the gospel of damage. They want to spread the word according to trauma and evangelize dysfunction. And now they're recruiting disciples of dysfunction to go out and spread the hurt. And that's a big problem, because that's what your Shabri Rawls does. That's what your Dr. Shiaku does out there. They go out there and their mission is to damage other people like them, because they don't want to see a hurt. They don't want to see, a healed and a whole and a holistic world, because now what happens is that makes them feel bad. That makes them feel less than. The misery loves the company. They want other people damaged, and that ties back into the first video we were talking about with the women getting on the sister saying, this is how I got this ring. I did listen to dysfunction. When they see happy and healthy and whole people, it serves as a god-awful reminder that I'm nowhere near that. I'm so far removed from it. I can't remember the last time I was truly, genuinely happy. I can't remember the last time I had joy in my spirit. It hurts too much. It's like vampires in sunlight. The sun hurts. I don't want that. So I wanted to be night nonstop. And so if they can drag other people into hell with them and makes them feel better, it reminds them of the environment best suited for them, because it's easier to do that than to do the work and heal and get whole. They would rather drag other people into their misery than they would drag themselves into the light of holistic well-being. We have to be mindful that we're not doing those same things. If you're in a relationship that didn't end right, even if it wasn't a horrible breakup, this has been a separation. There's some bonds that were established that have been ripped. There is damage there. It might not be extensive, but there is some damage there. You owe it to yourself, the next person that you're interested in entertaining, and the people around you to heal yourself first. There's some folk that don't know what it is to be single. Every time they break up, they jump into new relationship. Good God, man. Your odometer is screaming for service. You were supposed to check into the dealership at 25,000 miles. You scratching on 99. What are you doing? Relax. Put yourself on the ice box. Go in the penalty box. Cool off some. Analyze what they did wrong, but what you could have done better. Get that game and take it and be a better person for yourself first and foremost, for your partners that you're going to encounter, but also for your friends and family and the community that you're dealing in. So you're not in these social media comments being toxic. You're not out here on people's podcasts spewing dysfunctional and junk pseudoscience as justification for nonsense. Heal thyself. And then once you're good, maybe you can consider going out there and coaching other people and being a therapist and a doctor. Every good therapist has a therapist. Every good therapist has a therapist. They don't try to psychoanalyze themselves and pathologize themselves. Every good therapist has a therapist. And please believe they sound just as quote unquote crazy coming to that therapist as their clients do coming to them, because we all need healing. We all need wellness. There's no point where you're ever going to arrive and you don't need healing. We all go through life and accumulate wear and tear. So there should be no shame in seeking help. There should be shame, in fact, in not seeking help. And I land my my ATV. I think my car is just out of the shop. Let me check with the dealer real quick.
Listen, real quick before you go on, I just want to make sure. I just want to double and triple down on this point. This and I want to ask this question. She's a doctor, also, right?
Yeah, there was a question in the comments here about what her education. She went to some HBCU. She went to, I forgot where she got her master's from, Phoenix or Walden, and then she went to Chicago School of Psychology, got her doctorate. So
okay, so she's what, a clinician? Is she practicing?
Scary.
This is what I want to ask.
She's a psychoanalyst, so I don't.
That's scary because
the
Chicago school is about as thorough as it gets with psychology. I actually considered when I was looking at doing psychology for grad school. I actually looked. I think
the Chicago School of Psychology. Not. I don't think it's the one you're thinking about. I gotta look. I think.
I hope not, because if that's the case, my God, the standards have gone down, and that's what you're putting down.
I don't know. I don't know. But she would have to display her credentials a little bit.
Because when I listen to her talk, doctor of what? We Dr. Seuss? What are we doing?
I'm more inclined to believe that she was sitting on a couch watching Maury one afternoon and decided to register with ICDC College. That's what I'm
just saying.
More inclined to believe.
You see, you got the people out here like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen her. Doctor. This is what I'm saying.
She's showing.
This lady,
well, she might be another kind of doctor, but
listen, man,
I'll leave that to the unsanctified imaginations.
That's what the streets had said. But listen, this is my thing. Like, I have this issue with a lot of these. I'm gonna just say it like it is, because that's the only way I know how to say things. A lot of these credentialized fools that are running around the internet putting out these hateful talking points. And what's going to happen with this lady, my main issue with her is not her and the hateful and hurtful and spiteful things that she's saying and her energy, but her influence, particularly with the fact that she's at least saying that she's a doctor. You understand what I'm saying? People will repost her and gravitate to her and repurpose her toxicity. You know what I mean? And that's what really bothers me the most about that exchange. You know what I mean? The fact that she's coming from this, she says she's at a high intellectual place. She went to school for this. You know, she's credentialized. So people are going to take what she says with more weight. You understand? And it's just going to get us more into this cycle of perpetual hate that we're in right now. And that's what worries me about people like that. Not only, you know, the initial place that she's coming from, but the fact that, okay, people are going to listen to her that don't have much guidance and be like, okay, well, what she's saying must be on point because she's a doctor, right? And they're going to just repurpose this, and it's going to become more of this gender war fodder that we just don't need, man. She sounds like she needs therapy.
That's
you know
that's exactly what upset
how?
me, and that's why I reached out to her, because she put this out there with her credentials. I think I said at least twice to her on the show, like,
yeah,
you're the one saying this. Why are you saying this stuff? You haven't done the research. You're just saying it. And if I could have gotten her to just say, listen, I don't know, I just you know, I just kind of thought this at the top of my head, I would have been okay with that and just said, okay, well, here are the real numbers. Now you and I, let's try to fix this. We couldn't get there. And he's still not there because she emailed me today about it. So
yeah, she not doing the same thing.
I would be hard pressed to believe that someone who reasons, and again, because we have to just emphasize that conversation that you all had, that wasn't scripted, that wasn't pre-recorded, that was live. That was live in the flesh. I refuse to believe there's no sum of money that you can pay me. I don't care who you get out there to come and vouch for it to me. I refuse to believe that the woman or the person, it's not even about gender at this point, the person that speaks and puts those kind of thoughts out there and flinches when challenged, I refuse to believe that that person can go before a school halfway worth anything and defend a dissertation.
Come on, man.
Come up with a thesis, and it's going to stand to criticism. They're going to question and try to pick apart your thesis and your proposal and everything, and you're going to be able to stand there in the paint and survive that. And there are people that have gone. I've never gone through the process, so I can't speak to it firsthand. But from everything I've heard, there are people that had to go and redo their thesis, their proposals several times, not a few times, several times. Yeah. I know one person who told me years ago they actually went at it 9 times. They literally damn near came out the water for baptism crying, and they were so elated they finally got it this time.
Yeah.
There's no way she presented a thesis and got the stamp of approval from a halfway decent college. Maybe like who's that? Garrett said in the comments. Maybe it was indeed Chicken George University. I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
Hold up. Let me ask some real quick. I gotta ask this.
Yeah, excuse me, Minister Misty. My bad, misquote. Minister Misty, you dropped that one.
Go ahead.
No. I'm saying real quick because we gotta get up out of here, man.
I want to know, do you? Because I don't buy it, and you have the patience of Jesus. Do you really believe? Do you really believe that she wants to resolve things? Do you really believe that's her mindset?
No. I think she's looking for a reason to date out. She's dumping on black men and looking for a reason. And I didn't give her that reason. I pushed back, as we all saw and are speaking about. And so she just is unconvinced that there are any decent, good black men. I don't know where she lives. I think she lives in LA. So I don't know who she's experiencing, you know, who's coming up to her, who's approaching her, what circle she runs in, you know, what golf club she hangs at, what cigar bar she hangs. I don't know, you know, I don't know anything about that. And we could have had that conversation that maybe you need to stop, you know, getting approached if you're walking down whatever Sunset Beach or Long Beach, you know, if that's who's approaching you, then you need to change your location, and so you can meet and be around better men. If you are not running into men, you know, at whatever she's running university or whatever circle she's in, She said she was in a sorority, so you're not hooking up with frat
Oh,
brothers.
right.
I don't understand what you're doing and why you would say this. And we could have gotten there. I had every intention of getting there. Just saying, okay, here's where you need to meet these brothers at. And we just couldn't get there. So
I think it's the energy
She
she's
doesn't
giving
wanna
off
do
and what
that.
she's attracting. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ant.
No, I was gonna say, the stuff she was saying is just totally wrong. She was talking about Black men dating out. I'm so glad that Dr. L broke down the facts on that. Black males are hooking up with Black women a little bit below Black women hooking up with Black men. It's no different than the political percentage. Like Black men vote 88% Democrat, Black women 92% Democrat. It's that small bit of a margin. What I want to tell Black women, right, that think like that Black men are dating out, keep in mind that you are a Black woman that makes sure, because a lot of y'all are single mothers, right? And even if you're not a single mother, you're in a household, and these children, you want to make sure that they have a better future than you. You send your children to elite schools that don't have people that look like your children. You get scholarships to big schools, PWIs, that the percentage of Black people are 10%. So when they go to these schools, they're mingling with children that are not in the same race as your son. And on top of that, a lot of you women, and like I was going to tell Dr. L, the reason why she's not going to try to find a solution is because a lot of women, and they don't talk about this, it is the elephant in the room, a lot of women have ego. They talk about men ego, but there's a lot of women out here with egos, and she has ego.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are sending your children out here to these schools, these PWIs, these institutions that have small percentages of people that look like us, they mingle around us. And another aspect that you don't be honest with yourself as Black women is that some of y'all are not mentally there, and y'all are very toxic. And that Black boy that you raise as your son has a lot of disdain for you. And when people have disdain for something, they go to complete opposite.
Yeah.
So remember that. Take that into consideration why sometimes Black men are dating out. I'm not giving you guys or co-signing Black men for dating out, because nobody can understand you like a Black woman. When your day is hard out there, that's why do you think Method Man's song, baby, run my back and it be okay, and that's real to a brother like me, baby? It is something about our connection together that makes us last longer in this corrupted and white supremacy systematical world that we live in. Nobody understands our pain like we do with each other. So for somebody to tell you to go outside is not in your best interest to listen to, because let me tell you something. You can talk about going out and dating white men all you want, but when the white men are killing these Black women, and I can give you 20 Black women that got killed by white men and their partners is nowhere near jail. Matter of fact, it's written off as suicide. So they don't talk about that side of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And that's a big issue. So all I want to say is, and we're gonna get out of here. Thank you so much, Dr. L, for just taking the time out to come on our podcast. We love what you do, brother. Keep doing it. Any support you need, Manversations got your back 24/7. Just reach out to us. And is there anything else you want to tell the audience before you get up out of here? Because we really appreciate your time. Giving us 2 hours and 18 minutes I don't know how to repay you back on that, man.
I appreciate you having me on, man. I enjoyed the conversation. Listen, yeah, and you summed it up. One of you summed it up really well. I think it was Major summed it up. I am trying to make some differences. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to heal the community, and part of that healing has to come through first understanding. And if we're not understanding what the root of the problem is, we'll never be able to fix the stem. So that's what I want to do. That's why I wanted to try to get her to at least understand. Okay, here's the real data. Here's who tricked you, why they did it. Stop falling for the okie doke, and let's fix this. So I appreciate you having me on, and thank you so much. Check out my other podcast channel. I said one before, Dr. L's Breakdown, talking about police stuff. A friend of mine. We also have Faith in Justice as well. He comes from a more theological lens. I come from obviously the criminal justice lens, and we're both having the similar conversation. We have a lot more laughs. I think we're pretty funny together. And also Dr. L's podcast. If you're a guy out there just looking to improve, I got a lot of stuff for men, a lot of stuff for women too. They ask my opinion about a lot of different things. So just covering a lot of those topics. It's mostly about self-improvement. Before we look at other people, we got to take a look at ourselves. Before we point the finger at other people and say, well, look what they're doing, look how they're performing. Let's first analyze ourselves and make sure that we're doing the best that we can do. And then, of course, obviously, we have some dating advice as well. So again, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Thank you so much to the audience there. I see a lot of my members there. Minister Misty, Garrett just got here. Miles Batchelor. Who else is here? Lee, Rhonda Payne, Wada Payne, Mrs. Plum. She's been a rider lately. October is here. And to anyone else I missed, just thank you all for coming on. I really, really appreciate you guys following up.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Don't forget to follow him on all his platforms. You have any other platforms they can follow you on, or that was just it?
Man, I was trying to do TikTok and Instagram. I don't do none of that. So, I'm too busy. So people follow me all the time on Instagram. Every day I got 1 or 2 new followers. So that's great. Okay. I don't post anything over there. So the majority of my stuff is really here. I should be, cutting up clips and making 1-minute clips, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm lazy. I do what I'm doing. And then I got to correct papers. I also, adjunct professor, so I'm not trying to do all that. So.
Yeah. We'll definitely cut some clips up and promote you, man.
Definitely.
I appreciate that.
And y'all make sure y'all subscribe to youtube.com/@manversations2020 also. Make sure y'all do that too.
Yes.
All right, Dr. L. Have a great night.
Okay, you too, guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yay. All right.
You're going to take us out.
Yeah.
Oh man, another wonderful, great one. Again, can't say enough. Thank you so much, Dr. L, for not thinking it robbery to go ahead and share your time with us.
Yes.
As long as you have time, you can get more money. But no matter what you do, no matter how much you spend, you can never get more time. So for not thinking that 120 minutes and change was too much, we appreciate that. Thank you very much. We want to also thank all the folks that came from our neighborhood, but also from Dr. L's neighborhood. We appreciate you all. And for anyone else tuning in, make sure that you please support the ecosystem. Like, share, and subscribe this video and this channel, and also Dr. L's video and his channel as well, too. Make sure you spread the word. Tell somebody to tell somebody so we can get this content out of here. The garbage, the doo-doo, the septic tank water, that spreads itself. It has its own promo team. It gets all kinds of traction. We don't have nearly enough solid, positive, constructive, and productive content getting pushed out there. So you want to go ahead and baptize your algorithms. You want to go ahead and brainwash the folks that are clogged with the nonsense. Make sure they're able to see this stuff out here. We'll catch you all on our side of the fence next week. Same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This good brother over here, they call him Major Gage. This one up here, his name is Anthony Malcolm. I am Bobby Drake, and combined, we are Manversations 2020 with our guest host this evening, Dr. Lawrence Hunter, Dr. L. Catch y'all next time, same place. Peace out.
You already know.
Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there. You gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know there's certain lines you don't cross, and that there's gonna be consequences if you do.
Man up.
If you are an adult and you are in a relationship, that person's emotions are not your responsibility.
Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
The devil, during slavery, destroyed the masculinity or manhood of the so-called Negro. No man. No man. Right now you got to be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Position make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew that glorious past, if that people knew that glorious past, if that people knew that glorious past, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter, make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best
A
interest.
place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
At the end of the day, as men in the community, we
Man
must
up.
stand together and be counted because people look to us for guidance, leadership,
Man
and
up.
protection. And if we are not about that business, we are not on our job.
Man up.
Here we have grown-ass man conversations in the spirit of that purpose.
Man up.
Anthony Malcolm, Bobby Drake, Major Gage.
Man up.
We are. This is Manifestations 2020.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.